Hello, guys, and welcome to Miss German Let's Talk. Here we dive into the wildest, funniest, and darkest stories that we can potentially find on the internet on our favorite platform, Reddit. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's get right into today's episode. So we have one Reddit user who's asking, what are you guys' funniest and most awkward first date stories? And this Reddit user herself, sorry, has a story that we're going to read now. So my friend and I were talking last week, and by the way, this comment is 4 years ago, so that was in the COVID time. My friend and I were talking last week after an atrocious first date that I had on the weekend before my area unfortunately went back into lockdown. I still struggle with setting thought boundaries, and my date, I said date told me to meet him at a location in the city he lives in. When I got there, it turned out that he had booked massages for us, full body massages. I should have walked away then, but I didn't and ended up going through it with it. Only to be taken to a restaurant for a drink where he used to work, which resulted in him introducing me to a bunch of people like I was his girlfriend. And that was our first meeting in person. You would think that at our age people would know better, but the last first date I went on before this was almost just as bad. He showed up with a massive bouquet of flowers and stood outside the bar where everyone watched as they passed by when he gave them to me and attempted to pull back my chair when I wasn't expecting it. Because who does that anymore? I almost fell. I'd love to hear your stories. Hopefully, that's some top of this. And she edited, not really looking for a critique on my personal experiences, but just wanted to hear yours. I'm not giving you critique at all, but that guy seemed like a really nice guy. Like, just the massage thing on the first date, like, would you guys do this? I don't know. Like, I would do this with someone that I'm either boyfriend or girlfriend with, but or like my husband, or so to speak, but I don't know. The flower thing was very cute. Actually, when a guy introduces you to the people that he knows, that means he's actually very, very happy. To do this on the first date, I don't know, but to do it for the days afterwards, I think this is okay. The massage thing, maybe when you're more in a relationship, it's more like knowing what to do at different dates, right? Like first date should be like more in public so that, in case, especially as a girl, unfortunately, if you made the wrong decision and it's actually like a very creepy guy, so you can get off very easily. And the first dates are more in public and then get more private and, so to speak, get to know the person, right? But let's start with the next story. A cute one first. An only date I went with a guy. We're in a park after a light meal, sitting on the grass and chatting. I feel something poke my ass. I look around expecting a dog, felt like a nose, saw noting and went back to talking. Poked again, look around, nothing. Poked again. As I'm looking and seeing nothing, now I'm freaking out. I stand up and beneath where I was sitting, a tiny little mole pops his nose out of the ground and goes on exploring in the grass. We had such a good laugh. I watched him wander, dig and such. The mole occupies up for at least 30 minutes before he burrowed under again for good. Aw, that's actually cute. I mean, what are the odds that such a thing happens, right? And I mean, it broke the ice also on your date, right? Because you had a good laugh. So, a nice story. Next story. I met some guy on Reddit. Oh, a Reddit love story. Here we go, guys. I didn't knew that you guys are like actually meeting up from people who you know from Reddit. The story almost makes me yearn for the days my boundaries were non-existent, because it means I got into some crazy shit. He seemed a tot quirky. He didn't own a cell phone, or for instance, I asked him to meet me at one of my favorite coffee shops. I find him there. He has a laptop, but it's like 20 years old. I'm shocked it's connect to Wi-Fi. He doesn't drink coffee. He's sitting there drinking milk from a plastic cup. I ask him to go outside. I can tell he's not showered. I'm sitting downwind. It's not great. This is where 30-year-old me leaves, but 26-year-old me stays. Okay. I tried to go, but when we ended up walking past his truck and he pulls out some flowers on me, but not ones he bought, ones he picked from the side of the street like a 5-year-old. Oh, come on. He still picked flowers for you. He wants to hang out longer, so he pulls out this telescope and we go for a little walk. He has pockets full of Starburst candy and keeps offering me them to me. It's too cloudy to use the telescope and also still daytime. I'm trying to hurry the walk up at this point. Found it odd that despite him not owning a cell phone, he had pretty much every possible electronic known to man in his backpack. Tablet, laptop, Kindle, gaming system, everything so strange. Is it strange thought? Let's think about it. I mean, if he just don't want to have like a cell phone just for the sake of not having it, maybe he has very good reasons for it. Like the other things, but I understand your point of view. It seems odd for us. It does seem odd. We circle back to the truck and especially the candy thing. I try to say goodbye, but he really wants to hang out longer and his face is super sad. So I say, I need a ride to the pet fish store because I did. It was my errand for the afternoon. So I get into his truck. Girls, is it something we should do on a first date? Ankle deep in empty 5 hours energy shots, he drives me 15 minutes to the local fish store where we look at fish and I purchase driftwood. I guess I'm somewhat hopeful. Maybe I can convince myself this wasn't a terrible waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time. At this point, it's dark and he keeps trying to touch me, but also recall he was unshowered and it was gross. Okay, that it is gross. Where am I? He thought I was an amazing catch because I play BioShock. Also, we got hungry, so I recommend we eat somewhere quick because I want to get out as fast as possible, but still don't know how to pull this parachute. At this point, girls, if you really don't like the person, just tell them. Like, I know it's kind of weird and it's kind of strange, but like, just tell them, listen straight up front and honestly, don't keep going for the next hours because it's a waste not of just your time, but also the waste of the time of the person that is in front of you, right? And then you're making them some assumption that the date went good. So just say, yo, by now seeing you, I don't feel it. There's no chemical like reaction with us. I don't feel it. Just let's end the date here. Okay. We stood at by the slice kind of place. He makes me pay for my own $2 slice of pizza. Okay, now run, girl. After ordering his own, which was a little awkward, he asked me if I think they have milk. Okay, run. I say no. He asks them if they have milk. They don't. He pulls out of his cargo pants an enormous container of garlic salt and asks me if I want any. He is one of a kind that now I get what you mean, girl. I do. He offers to give me a ride home, but I lie and say I'm close and walk home 2 miles in the dark by myself to try and decompress because holy hell, I should have left 4 hours ago. He leaves me a voicemail from his parents' landline saying he had a great time. I messaged him on Reddit and say we won't be hanging out again. Oh yay. Oh yay. See, that's what I mean. You should have left 4 hours ago, and you know you should have left beforehand. I it seemed quite. He seemed quite like a type, a very specific, special type. At least he was polite to some extent, right? That's probably why you didn't leave. But the moment when a guy on the first time becomes touchy, you should probably leave and just never call back. So next story, guys. Next story. Nice enough. Follow of if a bit awkward. Nice enough. Follow if a bit awkward. Okay. I don't know. That was like the start of one comment that we're having here. Anyways, at one point he remarked that he had expected me to look classier based on my profile pictures, even thought this was a very casual drinks date, and he was wearing a neon orange denim jacket. Yeah, this is also like a good example when to leave the date. Exactly when you see the orange denim jacket. Anyway, we parted ways and I got home. I found this really long message in my inbox. It started with the phrase, I get the sense I can be honest with you, so in the interest of being direct, let me just say. My first thought was that he was about to tell me that he wasn't interested in pursuing things further, but no, he went on to write that I seemed pleasant enough, but he wasn't sure he found me attractive or well suited to him. Oh wow, we have a narcissist alarm here. Narcissist alarm. However, he explained that pretty typical for him. It takes him a while to really get to know someone deeply before he knows if he's interested. Okay. Therefore, he was proposing that we skip dating and enter into a serious relationship okay, red flag, where we spend several nights a week together. He felt confident that if we got right to it, we could assess if we actually like each other in a few months. So you want he basically asks you for sleeping with him and see if it goes well, and then he decides to dump you or not. Damn, I can relate to feelings attractions as a slow burn that takes time to develop. I really can, but the idea of jumping straight into a serious relationship and spending most of our free time together in the hopes that we'd like each other eventually felt like a whole lot of pressure. I declined. Props to him for graciously accepting my answer. Oh, oh my God. It's good that you declined, girl, because you were walking into not a green forest, you were walking into a red wildfire right there. Oh gosh. Well, and with that said, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the stories of today. And if you did, like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back soon with more crazy Reddit stories. See you next time. Bye.